Stacy Joyce, and in this video I will share my simple morning mobility routine that I do every day. It's something that has just grown over the years, so some things I started as long as 12 years ago, some things maybe I incorporated about 5 years ago, but these are the 10 things that I do without thinking on repeat. They may take up to 10 minutes. I timed myself this morning and it was right under 5. So there is no set time, speed to do these exercises. You can linger in them if you have to get on with your day. Sometimes I'll just do a couple breaths in each exercise. There's only 2 things that I use. One is a TheraBand and the other is a Gorgeous ball from Yoga Tune-Up. So every morning, get up, use the bathroom, brush my teeth, and then I start. So in pajamas, haven't had a meal yet, that's also key, and I start at the sink. So I didn't want to film in my bathroom, nor in my pajamas, so we're gonna pretend like this stool is the countertop in the bathroom, and that countertop would be likely lower. But the first one is a half forward fold to get elongation through the torso. So I'm placing my hands on top of the stool, stepping my feet back, but keep my feet under my pelvis, and I'm bending my knees to focus on elongating through my back. So as I press into the counter, reaching my head toward my hands, reaching my sitting bones back in space. And I am working to not flare the front ribs and not drop the abdomen, keep them elongating back as well so I'm not arching through the back. And just taking a couple breaths here, thinking about breathing nice and wide into all parts of the rib cage. And then coming up, I have a TheraBand and I do leave it in the bathroom. And this is the one that I started well over 12 years ago, is for my shoulder movement here. So you may start with a TheraBand that is super light. I would say this might be medium, but over time they do get more stretched out. So for this one, I just lift my arms up and back. Now your range of motion may be different than mine. What is key is that you're not pushing the pelvis forward to help move the arms. You're not flaring through the ribs. So I've done this a long time and I have good range of motion in my shoulders, but if you're finding that you lift the arms up and you're wanting to compensate by pushing the pelvis forward, just don't go so far. So you may lift and lower. So this is a nice way also to breathe into the rib cage, taking the weight of the shoulders off of the rib cage. So I'll do about 3 of those. And from there, I make my way onto the floor. The rest of the exercises I practice on my bedroom floor, just on the carpeting. I don't put out a mat, and the only thing that I use is the Yoga Tune-Up Gorgeous ball. So you may think this doesn't look like a ball. Well, you can inflate the ball as much as you want or as little as you like. So if you decide to use this initially, I probably used a little bit less. I probably inflated this a little bit less just to get used to it. And doing this in the morning before eating and drinking is really key, because it's not going to feel comfortable having something press into your stomach if you've had a meal. So I come down onto the floor for this abdominal massage. I think of breathing into the ball a couple times. Softening on each exhale. And initially you might not want the ball in the center of your abdomen, maybe a little bit lower so it's a bit on the pubic bone, will feel more comfortable. That's what I used to do. And after a few breaths, I'll roll the ball over to the right side of my abdomen. Rest here for a couple breaths. This feels like a nice massage. And many of us probably aren't used to having the abdomen massage, so this takes a little while to get used to. And then rolling to the left side, I'm taking my right knee out to the side. So you're getting a little massage in the ascending and then the descending colon. And from here, I roll right onto my back. Normally I'd have some kind of head support, but I'm here so briefly that I just don't bother right here. And from here, I will take my fingertips and I'm giving myself a little bit more of a abdominal massage, just kind of feeling around, maybe around the deep navel area, maybe saying hello to the gallbladder. And then moving to massage the diaphragm. So you're gonna find your bottom ribs with your fingers there. And this may feel sensitive at first, but you get used to it. And as we breathe in, the diaphragm descends, so the belly is also going to expand there. And as you exhale and the belly moves in, the diaphragm domes up into the rib cage. And you can take your fingertips and slightly feel along the rim of your rib cage, just massaging along this area. And from there, I move on to the sternum, the breastbone, taking my fist, and I'm using the knuckles to rub up and down on my sternum. Feels very good. And then keeping that fist, using the knuckles to do some taps along the chest, along the pectoral muscles, not hitting the collarbone, so staying away from any bones. So this is one thing that I added in, this in the next, because of some thoracic outlet issues. And then taking the other side. And from here, I massage underneath the collarbone and then on the upper ridge of the collarbone as well. So again, first taking one or two fingers, finding the bottom of your collarbone and starting at the central point near the chest and just rubbing, making your way out to the farthest area of your collarbone. We'd like to feel that we're not, it's just feeling like nice and smooth and open. And do the same thing along the top of the collarbone. And we'll switch sides. So this right here, just being on the back with the shoulders resting on the floor, the arms up to the side, in and of itself is a chest opener. So it's nice to be relaxed in this position when I do this work instead of sitting, but you could sit. So went along the underside, the top side, and I normally don't think, but now I am. So from here, reach the arms up to the sky, wiggle the fingers, roll through the wrist both ways, and we're gonna add in the legs. So you could add one leg, you could add two legs in this like dead bug position, and give a little wiggle to the limbs, a little shaking out through the arms. And then finally, when I end here, I'll take my row of the boat. So hands on the kneecaps and start to pretend like you are rowing the boat, moving your femurs in the hip sockets. You can start with really small ones, maybe getting a little bit bigger, but the whole length of my spine is on the mat, or not on the mat, on the floor, and my pelvis is heavy. And that's it. Those are the 10 things. Maybe ending with like a little big, like long body stretch, like you're a cat or something, but it's completely up to you. So I encourage you to do try some of these and, you know, replace, swap, whatever with things that make sense for you. And when it becomes so habitual, you're just like kind of doing these things. And I wouldn't say that this is necessarily enough for the day, but it's something that's really helpful to get going and get things moving and not start the day feeling stiff. So I hope you enjoy this.